All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the New Progressives. I am here today at last with Miss Velda Myles. I am so excited. We've been trying to connect this for a couple of weeks, and this is
Yes, ma'am.
I love talking to you. You're such an inspiration. Your memoir, I read it years ago. I mean, we are kind of the same way when it comes to writing. We have a lot in common, even though we've never met in person. I'm really excited to have you on board with the New Progressives. And so today we wanted to talk about this is something under the church, not built by hands, but it's also political. We want to talk about all of it. And what we want to talk about is lies, and how it's so acceptable in our society, in our everyday life, and how detrimental it's been. We can see evidently how dangerous it is to all of us. And so I wanted to start off with that launching point. But Belda, when you think about we lived through 4 years of a pathological liar as president. The truth ain't in that dude. And so
Yeah.
look at what it's done to our society, to our culture. People just say lies randomly, and it doesn't even matter. People don't even check them. They'll say, "Oh, it was a mistruth," or "he misspoke." Come on, man. So go ahead, Velda. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, I think Kellyanne Conway, when she said an alternative set of facts, I think
Mm,
that was my favorite thing, because that's like gives you permission to lie. But
mm,
lying is one of my pet peeves. And here's my thought process behind that. When you're lying to somebody and you're trying to make them think or make them believe whatever it is you're trying to make them believe, and you know the truth, that's
mm,
an insult to that person's intellect, to just try to bamboozle, them into thinking something. So I hate being lied to.
mm.
If somebody asks me a question and I'm not comfortable answering, I just won't answer that question, but I'm
That's
not gonna
right.
lie to them. So I have to find another way to not answer that person's question
That's
other
right.
than lying. Once you lie to me, I don't trust you anymore.
Exactly. You don't even got to tell me
Yeah.
multiple lies. That first lie, I'm like, after that, things start coming in with a grain of salt. Like, well, okay, you've lied
Absolutely.
about this, especially when you lie about little things, that don't even matter. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, so this is just how you
Yeah.
roll.
Right. And that's how you think of me. You think no more of me than for you to, try to get your point across to me by telling me something that's not true. Even whether or not I can see through what you're saying, just the
Hmm.
fact that you think that little.
Yeah, respect your intelligence that little. And I was telling you before we started recording, this whole topic is because, like you, it's a pet peeve for me. And growing up in our house, that was the cardinal sin. I mean, if you lie,
Yes.
you're gonna get your butt busted. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you
Right.
did something wrong and they
Right.
asked you about it, you might as well tell the truth, because if number one, they're gonna know you did it. You might not even get a whooping. But if you lie about it, you don't get your butt busted. End of story.
Hmm.
So I've always
Right.
hated lies. It's kind of an unfair advantage when you're honest all the time, and then there's somebody constantly lying to you. And so
Mhm.
one day I was in meditation, like I usually am all day with Jesus, talking from my spirit. And God just put it in my heart. He was like, "You ever wonder why lie is the same as is on the same list as murder in my
Mhm.
commandments?" And I said, "Wow, that's deep." Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. My parents hated lying so much that we couldn't even say lie. We had to say storytelling. You could
Mm,
not, that was worse than a cuss word, was to call somebody a lie, but
yeah.
that's because they hated the concept of lying so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
I remember
Yeah.
I worked with this British dude one time, and he was like, I was joking about something. It's like, "Malik, are you telling porkies?" I was like, "Telling what?" He was like, "Telling pork pies." I was like, "What in the hell is a porky? A pork pie?" I don't tell porkies. I don't tell pork pie. That's a great storytelling.
I've never heard that before.
I hadn't either. I was like, "What? You telling porkies?" No, what is a porky? That's the British term for lies or storytelling or whatever.
I guess so. I learned something new today. But
But
there's a saying, truth crushed to the earth will rise again. So no lie is going to live forever. You
That's
know, even the lies that our former president told, that's not going to live forever. And one day he's going to get caught up in the lies that he told, and everybody who supported his lie. And not just, you know, because he was a big liar, you know what I'm saying? But even little lies are going to be, the light is going to be shown on even little lies, you
oh,
know? So it's just, rather than trying to keep the lies straight in your head, just tell the truth to begin with, you know?
thank you. I say that all the time. You know, I never have to question what I said and when I said. Can anybody say, well, you said this? I know what I said. I don't lie.
Right?
So again, there you go,
Exactly.
making sure my story's straight, making sure, you know, what did I tell this person versus this person? Life is a lot easier when you just get
Yeah,
that out of your mouth and out of your head and out of your heart.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
You know, and you know, I wrote a whole memoir. You know, you've read part of that too,
Hmm.
about even the little lies that we tell ourselves. How
Yeah.
those can destroy your own soul. You know,
Yes.
even if you're not telling to other people, the things that you're keeping in your head and in your spirit, that it opens up that crack. Every time you do that, you're letting that little crack for Satan, for evil to enter you and mess
Right.
with your life. And it, you know, we see right now there is so much distrust and cynicism in our government. And some people deserve that. Some people have made it
Right.
a point to just be lying and deceitful and malicious with the way that they are handed a trust. I mean, we literally hand them
Hmm.
our trust when we elect our officials, is the public trust. And
Right.
so our government is filled right now with people who are liars and deceivers.
Hmm.
So again, we have given over our trust. We trust you to not legislate to our detriment, but to do things for our general welfare. And when we can't trust two words that fall out of your freaking mouth, then who, what?
Right.
I mean,
Right. I used to follow politics. Well, I still listen, you know what I mean? But I used to be active, very active in politics. But now, you know, because it seems like everybody is lying. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's kind of hard to follow somebody that you know the end result is going to be something that's not true, you
right.
know?
And that's sad
So
because
I kind of lost my enthusiasm for it. I still, you know, but I'm still a news whore. And wherever there's some news, I'm there, you know. But I just don't follow it the way I used to, you know, not politics, no.
it can make you crazy. And that's the problem too, because it pushes good people out. So now you got a lot
Yeah.
of there are dozens of Democrats now that are like, I'm not running for reelection. You know, they
Yeah.
put all the good people out because they don't want to be around that. They don't want to be in the, you know, work. I mean, you know, when you work with people that are like that, when you know, when
Hmm.
you're friends with people like that, when you have relatives that are like that, you know, you don't want to spend a lot of time with them. You know,
Absolutely.
so I can see it's going to make it worse for us instead of
Yeah.
better, especially
Yeah.
every that's good and righteous or you know has integrity out, and that's the
There's
problem.
even some good Republicans who have backed out of the race because they just don't want to be caught up in that lie, like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. They don't want to lie anymore. You know, they don't want to be associated with liars. And, you know, the Republicans are coming for them big time
Oh
just
yeah,
because they want to tell the truth. You
that's
know,
right.
it's
And did you,
just,
and they don't even see the blatant hypocrisy of it all, and especially again, they brought out a golden calf to this dude. I mean, are we
yeah,
getting real biblical here? Right? I mean, come on, man.
yes,
It's black and white. It is so blatant that it
yeah,
shouldn't be that hard for people. You can't vote. I don't care if you have an R or a D behind your name. I mean, it's about the person and their integrity and their character.
yeah,
And when you look at so many people that get the biggest headlines in our government, it makes sense. People like you, me, and you, we're political junkies, we're political whores. We never tune out all the way. We're always paying attention, but
yeah,
people who don't, people that we need to be active and participate in our government, they look at it and they're like, ugh, a pox on all your houses.
yeah. America is not what it used to be. People don't even view us the same anymore because, you know, we lie like the other nations lie, you know, so nobody wants to be bothered with a liar, you know.
Yeah. And these last, I mean, ever since 2016, I mean, they unleashed the beast in this country and
Yes.
just gave approval to the lie. And now that thing is loose among
Yeah.
all of us. And it's infecting so many people and they don't realize what's happening spiritually.
Right.
But we see it reflected in our politics, in our culture.
They just, it was two people today in his camp. I was trying to find it on my phone, but I can't find it now. But two people got indicted today, held in contempt of Congress because they're lying for him and they won't tell the truth.
Exactly.
So.
I mean, and again, this whole thing started because this dude lied. He knew he lost that election. He knew it. All of this is to save face, to try to hold on to power for one person who did so much damage to this country in every sense of the word. In every sense of the word. I mean, turned our Supreme Court into a kangaroo court. It turned this whole country into, what I mean, World War Z. I mean, it's like we're supposed to be, I've said this before, this is an intramural fight. Politics is supposed to be Democrats, it's not even, the founders didn't even envision parties. They didn't want us to have parties to begin with because they knew this would happen. And so, it's supposed to be, okay, you have an idea, I disagree with your idea, and then we argue it out. But we all have to be working from a place of truth. We all have to have a place of facts to start from. And that is right. That has just been blown out.
Yeah, and his lies have helped to embolden other leaders like Putin. He, what is his whole reason for invading Ukraine? Because that they have weapons over there, kind of like the lie George Bush told all those years ago. That's what I'm saying? And I mean, the atrocities going on over in that country right now are just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Over a lie.
Yeah.
Over a lie. It's not even true.
Over a lie. And look at the Russian people. Look at how he's lying to them.
Yeah.
I mean, they believe this stuff. They believe that they're going, even they believe that they're killing Nazis over there because Putin has spent a decade just prepping them, filling them with lies and different lies to make them believe this, so that now they're like, oh yeah, this is what we've been planning on. This is what, and tainting everything. That ain't nothing good gonna come from that. That's evil.
Yeah. Absolutely. He even put actors in place to do these, videos where it looked like the Ukrainians were being mistreated. And then the Americans found out, with their intelligence, they found out that it's true, and they blew the story up before he got a chance to even go to press with it. You know what I mean? So his lie was exposed before he got a chance to. But I mean, the people who believe in him still believe in him. That didn't change anything. Just like over here, the people who believe Trump, no matter what you say, it's not changing anything. But truth crushed to the earth will rise again. You cannot just you don't have a foundation on that lie. That foundation is going to crumble.
That's right.
And he doesn't even want to be president so he can change things. He wants to be president because he can't accept losing.
That's right.
And that's a terrible reason to want to lead a country.
That's right. And because he knew that if he was out of power, he was going to get busted on all of the shit he did while he was in office.
Absolutely.
It's just crazy.
Absolutely.
I heard people say over and over again when he was in office, well, how do you defeat so many lies? How do you defeat with all these lies? With the truth. With the truth.
Right. And that's the only thing.
That's it. I mean, the truth is way stronger than a lie. A lie can be repeated and people can believe it, but the truth can cut through. And if you got more people telling the truth and telling it loudly and telling it repeatedly, it's that, they spent our media, they have a lot of complicity in this, because they spent 4 years chasing every stupid ass lie he told as if it were the truth.
That's true.
They spent years
not
even calling it a lie.
Yeah. But I mean, there was a certain way that the media, I know we're all humans. I get that. I understand. But as much as I used to love Chris Cuomo, I used to tune into him every night. And, even now it bothers me to say anything bad about him. I love Anderson Cooper too. But the lying that he was doing in his personal life, that bled over into the news. So it made him less believable when he was doing the news, because you say if he's capable of that kind of lie in his personal life, what is he lying about when he's, because the news is not about anymore the news. The news is about that person's personal opinion who's sitting up there telling the story. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
anyway, CNN kind of let me down. And then when Don Lemon was doing his thing, lying, helping Jussie Smollett get out of trouble and all of that,
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't even believe CNN no more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's
So if Joy Reid goes out like that, I'm gonna be devastated. I ain't gonna know where to go.
ah, yeah, I believe in Joy. Joy, you ain't gonna let us down, are you, darling?
Yeah. Joy and Rachel Maddox. I mean,
Rachel
if they
Maddow.
mess up, I'm gonna throw up my hands.
Oh yeah, and Nicole Wallace, she's one of my favorites too.
Oh yeah, her too. Yes.
And you notice they're all women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna say.
Just sit that right there.
Okay, let's just let that linger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some bull. I hate it, and that's what
Yeah.
I mean. And even the fundamental rule of journalism. My degree it started as journalism and communication, and the fundamental rule of journalism is to seek and to tell the truth.
Yes.
That's your job.
Yes. Right.
If you can't depend on this is why they spent so many years trumping them. The liberal media, the mainstream media, and calling our free press enemies of the state.
Yes.
You look at all those journalists over there in the Ukraine that are
Mhm.
risking their life and limb to make sure that we see the truth.
Yes.
That's their
Yes.
job. They talk
Right.
the Second Amendment like it was the first one. The first one is the freedom of the press, the freedom of speech, and the freedom of the press.
Because once you start to squelch that, you know what I mean? It's like we really won't be able to believe what people say.
That's right.
Because where's the truth going to come from?
That's right. That's where they are in
Mhm.
Russia. They don't get to hear
Yeah.
it. They don't see anything. He's kicked out every independent media. And that's the
Right.
problem with Trump followers. Notice they don't listen to anything other than what they tell them to.
Fox News. That's
That's
it.
it.
That's all they want to hear.
That's it. And if you
Yeah.
tell them anything else that doesn't jive with that, they just tune it out. And that's weird
Right.
in a free country, and that's why there was freedom of the press, because it's assumed that if we have all the information available, people will find the truth. Even if
Yeah.
hearing something foul, they'll hear the truth eventually. Not when we
Mhm.
self-select. That's a new phenomenon that people
Yeah.
in this country are saying, you know what, there's all this stuff that counters everything that I'm hearing. This stuff, all these conspiracies, all these lies. I'm listening to these things. There's people saying it ain't true, but I'm going to ignore it all.
Mhm.
That's just not normal.
Yeah. But once the emperor is exposed for not having clothes on, because once that happened in that fable,
Yeah,
the emperor lost all of his authority,
that's right.
when he discovered that he didn't have any clothes on. I
That's
think
right.
Trump already knows he doesn't have any clothes on, but he knows also that he's successful at persuading people,
Mhm.
so he's not going to let he knows that he doesn't have any clothes on,
Mhm. You know what I think? I think he's kind of like, how gangs have that blood in, blood out.
Yeah.
I think everybody that's been on the quote unquote chump train, I call him chump. I don't call him Trump. All these people been on the chump train. I bet you he's all these people, they got stuff on him. He's got stuff on him. And that's why they refuse
Yeah. I'm
to
sure.
let it go.
Yeah.
The politicians, the people who have power, they're not going to turn on him.
Yeah. Right. But these lowly people who, were ride or die with him, and he let all of them people be ass out, going to jail and all that kind of stuff after he told them he was going to keep them from going to jail. And these people are getting sentenced every day, and ain't no talk about it. Nobody is talking about it, because the more you talk about it, the more he's going to be exposed for him not helping these people who supported him to the death.
That's right. Why are we hearing those
And
stories?
literally, some of them support him to the death.
They do. And I mean, he's raised hundreds of millions of dollars, and yet he has spent none for the politicians to get reelected. So
right.
He ain't spending money on the bail. He was like, yeah, give me money so that in case I go to jail, in case I need some lawyers.
Mhm.
And they gave it to him, like you said.
But he's losing money. He's
to him.
losing by the millions. His hotel in New York is just, it's just bleeding money.
Oh yeah.
So,
That Washington hotel, he had to sell it because it wasn't nobody on it. Their names on that.
Exactly.
I mean, you don't
But he
lose
found
all.
out just how important he was, like when he wanted to move back to Mar-a-Lago, the people didn't want him coming
They
back.
were like, get the fuck out of this
You know?
city. We don't want you over here. You can go wherever the hell else you
Right.
been.
We want those bombs aimed elsewhere. Don't come here where we live.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I'm like, you gotta take your raggedy ass elsewhere. You ain't allowed to.
Yeah. Well, I'm a
They didn't want him in New York. They want him in Florida. Yeah, where
we
you
don't
gonna go?
want him nowhere.
Ask Putin for a room in his little palace.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Putin and Kim.
Yeah, yeah. And
Mhm. Those friends.
the thing that I worry about is that we, like you said, we all know he's being exposed. He's going to be exposed, and he's going to fall. The problem is how much damage is done in the meantime.
Yeah.
Just like you,
Irreparable damage.
we know Putin's going to be. He's going to have to end this war. Because he's
Yeah.
going to run out of money. He's going. I mean, the whole world is against him. That's
Yes.
how much damage, how many atrocities have to happen in the meantime. You know,
Yeah.
that's the reason why I'm so annoyed with the DOJ prosecuting.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see what they're doing over there to fight for a democracy that we all take for granted.
Yes. Yes, but they're prosecuting the lowly people. It's not the higher you go up, the less you get prosecuted.
Right. Now, how is that justice?
Mhm.
How is nobody
Yeah.
above the law if you're afraid to touch, oh, he was the former president. He's a fucking criminal. And
Right.
he ain't a president anymore.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I don't know what we're waiting on. I don't respect titles like that.
Right.
I just don't.
I think it's coming though.
Hey,
I
man,
do think it's coming for him. I really,
I hope so. Because sometimes I get the feeling, because you
because
remember,
I just had to testify yesterday. You know, she did a closed door in front of us yesterday. So we'll see what comes out behind that.
I hope so. Because again, we
Yeah.
got for that Robert Mueller okey doke for 2 years, and
Yes.
that's what
Yeah.
I worry about. That okey doke.
Yes, you have to make an example though, or else, you know, the next person, it may not be him because, you know, he's too old to run again. But
Mhm.
I mean, somebody who was emboldened by what they saw him get away with, you
Yeah.
know, wouldn't we be in trouble if it was a young person who was doing this, who had a long time in power, you
And
know?
it wasn't a complete and utter moron, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because without money, he would just be the crazy man in the trailer park who all the kids were afraid to go by his house. You know, that's the only thing that separates him from the nut house.
Yes, yes. You ain't even lying. That's what I said. I was like,
Yeah.
you'd be some corner store hustler in the streets of New York. If you ain't had no money, hand it to him. He's
Yes,
garbage. He's a
exactly.
garbage person.
Yep.
Why? I mean, what does that say about you if you following him to
Yeah.
the hell? Like, that's goofy.
Right.
I mean, that's just goofy. I mean, what is he doing for you? I don't
I
understand.
agree.
They get on my nerves.
Yeah. I don't either. Because he has not paid not one person's legal fees
Mhm.
who stormed that Capitol.
one.
Not one.
Not a
But
one.
he told all of them he was going to help them out.
Didn't
And
he?
they just falling left and right. And I mean, still people are being exposed. People who thought they had gotten away are
Yeah.
still being arrested behind that, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
with no help from him.
None. And he ain't want to help them.
Yeah,
It's
of
like
course not.
trying to be a kingmaker in the Republican Party. He didn't raise all this money. And they like, yeah, well, you can help support my candidacy. You're like, nah, I ain't. I'm like, what did you He ain't helping nobody. He never helped
Yeah, he's not. He's not, but I think he's losing popularity too. I think that, you know, people who supported him so doggedly before, they're not openly supporting him anymore. Now they won't bash him, you know, but they're also not supporting him like they were.
Yeah, and I think this Ukraine thing has really, I mean, because there are so many Republicans, you can't. I mean, really, in this face of this, they know that Russia is in the wrong, and they know they
Yeah.
can't co-sign these atrocities. I mean, fucker Carlson, he'll keep co-signing them, and
Yeah.
but okay, but you know, politicians are like, yeah, okay, my people. I mean, damn near 80% of us are like, okay, we're on the side of Ukraine. You know what I mean? We've got
Mhm.
massive support on both sides, so they already
Yeah.
know. they can't come out against us in Ukraine.
Right.
But he went all
Right.
in. Oh,
You
he's
got to sit on your hands. Even if you think something different, you got to sit on your hands and just go along with the flow this time.
Oh yeah. And so that him
Yeah.
coming out in front and saying, "Oh, Putin's a genius. Oh, he's brilliant." Now it's like everybody's like, "Oh, whoa, wait, I can't." Oh, no, wait. I ain't gonna. Yikes!
Yeah, now you crazy for real, for real.
Now you done lost your shit, bruh. So I mean, so I think this has exposed that even, and even Republicans
Yeah.
are like, I can't go there. No. And again, right now we're in an active war. It's a hot war. I mean, that's you're getting into treason territory now, especially as
Yes,
officials. So you gotta watch your mouth.
absolutely.
I know. I mean, I think this should be clarifying for all Americans. Or that
Yeah.
everybody's comparing this what Ukraine is doing to Dunkirk in Britain during World War II against the Nazis.
Mhm.
And when I first learned about Dunkirk, the first time I heard about it was I was watching Mrs. Miniver. I'm in the classic movies, and Greer Garson and Walter Pigeon. Oh, I love that movie. But yeah, I thought it was creative fiction. They, he left and went out on his boat. They were going to Dunkirk to rescue their army trapped by the Nazis. I thought, well, that's
Mhm.
interesting. Wow, that's brave. And then I found out that really happened. Like that actually did happen. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what patriotism is that? They rescued every one of their troops and brought them home
Yeah.
in their little home boat.
Yeah. They used to tell those hard stories though, with the symbols and the orchestra behind the, with the black and white movies and stuff like that. They did tackle some really hard stuff even back then,
Yes.
but you didn't realize how hard it was because you were so caught up with the cinema and you know what I'm saying? But they were dealing with stuff.
They were dealing with some real stuff. And Jenny, we did a podcast a few weeks ago, and it was like she was like, "Doesn't it feel like we're living in like a 1930s movie?" I was like, "Yes, we are in that."
It really does.
It really does.
Yeah.
History is
Yeah.
definitely stuff right now. And
Yes. I live in a military town.
Oh yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, when the whole war kicked off, I mean, those cannons were booming so hard it was shaking my living room window. I already live close enough to the base that I can hear when they play revelry. They do 6:30 in the morning and 10:30 at night. They play revelry, and when my windows are open, I can hear it. But when that was going on, I'm like, okay, it's over. It's done deal now. Jesus is coming because they were going crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because anybody in our military would and should. They know the history of our service, and it ain't with Putin.
Yeah.
And yeah, I used to live near MCAS in Miramar in San Diego, and work, and we'd be taking breaks, and those jets would fly overhead, and you couldn't hear yourself. You just be mouthing words, lip syncing. wait till the plane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yes, there are 3 military installations here. I can see the antenna out of my living room window, but they're Peterson Air Force Base, Force Academy, and Fort Carson. All of those are in the same town that I live in. So we're going first. We paid cost to live in such a beautiful, but I mean, when bombs drop, they drop them here first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but at least you got the army on your side. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I'm ready to the base, like, help me.
Yes.
That is awesome.
I think deployed 7,000 from here a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So they ain't playing.
They ain't. And that's why I keep telling people, I mean, we're on we could actually be dragged into this. And so, we gotta, when people talk about the gas prices and stuff like that, I understand. I mean, hell, I work from home, so I don't have to drive everywhere all the time. So sometimes I feel bad saying this, but at the same time, I would ride the bus. I used to ride the bus for 7 years. Went to and from college. I can get on the bus and go somewhere because it is worth this kind of, look at the sacrifices they're making over there. And we ain't willing to pay a little more for gas. They're on the line just like the Brits did. and
Yeah.
we are embarrassingly behind the curve and tuned out.
Yeah. But all of that is changing now because we're being exposed so much every day to other people's pain and, you know, what they're going through and stuff like that. So, I mean, you know, it's kind of hard to deny when you see what, you know, and this is Europeans, you know what I mean? You're so used to seeing brown faces, you know, when there's bombs and you know, people being killed by their government and stuff. But these are blue-eyed white people, you know?
Yeah.
So
And
it's a little bit different now.
it is.
Yeah.
And that's why we've had that peace all these years, because of that NATO alliance. Because at the end of World War II, we said never again. We're gonna make sure that people stay in their borders. I mean, NATO. If NATO had the point is, and I agree with President Zelensky, like if you can't stop this, what is the point?
Yeah. Absolutely.
They're like, well, we can't get Russia off the UN Security Council because they're permanent members. Well, you need to make a rule. If there's 4 to 5 that cancel, you need to make a rule.
Because those people that are suffering and immeasurable, you know, it's, I don't know, it's a bad thing. You don't even know what words to put anymore. It's just sad.
It is. And I mean, when you see those pictures, I mean, even again, I've learned this from the end of World War II, what the Russians did to the German people. I mean, the raping old ladies and little girls. And in World War II, I saw a documentary where the troops themselves were filming what they had done. Had women in their nightgowns laid out in a row, and they're zipping up their pants, buttholes bleeding and just laying out in the snow, and they're laughing and filming it. They filmed that themselves. I mean, these are the same.
They bombed a maternity hospital a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Babies.
I mean, they're killing people with their hands tied behind their backs. People riding on bikes and stuff. I mean, these are sick and gruesome and barbaric. This war is gruesome. But Putin is a relic from the past. He is a barbarian.
Yeah, given license to get away with what he's doing.
Because again, he has lied to his people. There are people in Russia who have relatives, children living in Ukraine, who are telling them, look, I am in Poland because my house was bombed. And their parents are like, Putin wouldn't do that. No, he didn't. They're Nazis. They're doing this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They can't even convince their own people in Russia. That's how deep that lie is there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I, you know, there are bad options. I agree. I don't want to be in a world war with nuclear weapons. That's a new level. We didn't have that in 1995 and 1945.
Absolutely.
But we can't let this man. I mean, it's like who said it? I think President Zelensky said we can't kowtow, or Ambassador McFall. He was like, every time Putin says nuclear war, we can't say, oh well, we can't do anything, right? Because then he gets away with anything. He's a bully. So we're 30 to 1. Let's, you know what? Just knock out his sights real quick. Let's do attack. We got to get creative.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, President Obama, he invaded Pakistan's airspace, and they were supposedly an ally to go get Osama bin Laden. They were hiding him. They were aiding and abetting him. And he said, you know what, fuck it, we're crossing. We're going in.
We're coming on in.
You're going to get that money, and you ain't going to have something to say about it. And so what did Pakistan do about it? Ain't shit you can do about it.
Yeah, they sat out.
That's right. Yeah, we caught him in your backyard, so say something.
Yeah.
Right? You kept saying you ain't know where he was. Well, we found him right in your backyard, asshole. So no.
Yeah.
I don't know why we don't just take out a couple of those sites real quick.
I mean, he's already set up camp at Chernobyl. What would be his reason for wanting to move into an abandoned nuclear power plant? What's his reason for that? But they say that he has amassed billions of dollars. His wealth is untold at this point, you know, all off the backs of his people.
Yeah, they're struggling. He's not.
Yeah, and never will with that kind of money.
But the U.S., I mean, I think these sanctions might actually work, because apparently he was trying to convert 600 million or something, and we were like, nope.
Biden just did some more sanctions today.
Mhm.
Just today.
Yeah. But I
Mhm.
agree, until the European Union, until they all agree to stop using his gas, buying his gas, at least put the money in escrow. I mean, we've got to cut off his funds. That's how
Yeah.
they don't have an economy outside of oil and gas.
Right.
So we got to cut that off. You cut that off, he has no money. He can't keep fighting this war.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that lie has infected us to the point where you've got politicians aiding, and some people aiding and abetting this garbage, where it used to be we'd be 100% against.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
you got people saying, well, how do we know that? Putin said that when they had when they got into Bucha and saw all the devastation and the bodies laying out in the street, Putin told his people, oh no, they staged that. That was them killing their own people. Satellite images show that those bodies were there weeks before, when Russia was still occupying. And you had Americans, that fucker Carlson was on TV talking about well, how do we know it wasn't staged?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Wow.
that is so, we didn't get into World War II until they actually attacked us in Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
I don't want it to get there.
Yeah. Oh, girl, no. No, we don't need another war.
Yeah. So I hope people, I mean, this is part of why I keep doing the Ukraine pieces, because I especially us, especially Black people who are half tuned in and half tuned out,
Mhm.
who don't understand the history of why this is important to us. I mean, and Joy made the point, like, some of the war criminals, when you look at the list of people that have actually been tried at The Hague, it's full of a lot of Africans.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But we think we can afford to look the other way. But when my brother's in trouble, so am I,
That's
so.
right. That's
Mhm.
And that's why I need us to understand. And again, we live in a Western democracy.
Yeah.
We may be Black. Our ancestors may have came from Africa, but that was hundreds of years ago for most of us, right? So
we can't go back there. Even when things get hot, we can't go back.
We ain't got nobody over there. This is our place. This is our land. This is our homeland, right?
Right.
So we are part of that Western alliance. So let's get
Yes.
over that. We are aligned with a bunch of blue-eyed, white-haired people, right? This is our corner of the earth. So let's be real. The bombs go off, they gonna get us too. So
That's right.
let's get involved and pay attention. I mean, we have the wisdom that a lot of them don't. So we need to add our voice to this.
Right.
Like I said, they keep letting I know a lot of white kids didn't get raised like we did. You get the belt for telling the lie. Right?
Oh, yeah.
We need to impart some of that wisdom. What did Bernie Mac say?
Right.
If a kid reaches the age of 10, I believe you have the right to punch him in the throat or the stomach.
And that's true.
I love you some Bernie Mac. Rest in peace, Bernie.
Girl, yes.
But yeah, I mean, seriously, we know when you got to break out the belt. There's a time for talking. There's a time for action. And
Right.
we get to the point where we're, especially Black women, we don't play like that.
Right. Exactly.
Y'all need to
My
listen.
mother used to say, if you raise the curtain, I'll start the show. And she meant it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
She meant it.
Smart mouth make a soft behind, don't it?
Girl, yes.
So
we don't even talk to our kids like that anymore because we're afraid who might be listening.
That's right. Afraid somebody gonna say something. Let me tell you, my parents were raising us during that whole anti-spanking era, and they were like, I don't give a damn what they're talking about. You mess up, you can get your butt busted.
Absolutely. And you should.
Yeah.
They used to always say they didn't want the streets to raise us. They was gonna raise us at home because they didn't want us to get raised in the streets. And
That's
I mean,
exactly
look how many kids are getting raised in the streets now. You know what I mean?
And
if they even make it.
That's right. And that's why they're out of control. They have no ethics. They don't know things. And that's because they're not being taught that at home.
Yeah.
We
exactly.
We had wisdom in that. We should have kept that. I mean, I did. My sisters raised her daughter the same, old school. You know what I mean? We didn't have to get whippings a lot. And you know why? Because our parents didn't issue idle threats. We knew that was a real threat, right?
Absolutely.
Mom snapped her fingers from the choir stand and gave us that look. It was like, okay, I'm sure. I'm not playing. We knew she'll come walking down that choir stand, drag our asses down in the basement if we kept pushing it. You better watch it. So,
I had 6 siblings when I was growing up, and when we went to church, we took the whole pew and we would sit according to our size. And people, when they would come to our house or when my parents would take us someplace, they could not believe that there was 7 children in that house, because my parents didn't play that either. Both my parents were from down south. They didn't play that.
oh yeah, my mom was Southern.
And they didn't need to beat us all the time either. We just, like you said, we knew.
We knew
Yeah.
when to test it and when to say, okay, never mind. I'm done. Don't get mad. Right.
Yes.
And I respect their authority, So again, beating and spanking are 2 different things. And this whole generation got raised. That's why you got a fuck you mom generation. Because they got the parents are like,
they don't even get spankings anymore. I hate those videos where people say, they do that little chat or a little chant where they say about not spanking your kids. I'm like, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I didn't beat my children, but when they need it, they got a bang.
Yeah, they did. And I'm glad I did. Because I would have been off the I know me. I didn't push the boundaries. There wasn't I learned a long time ago. This will get me yelled at. This will get me a whooping. I'm not doing that. I don't I'm not doing the whipping. Consequences. You gotta weigh those consequences of your actions. Learn that way early.
Absolutely.
I used to sit around and watch my brother and sister get whoopings because I'm like, y'all gonna get a whooping.
Right. And I'm not even gonna be in that.
I'm not gonna do it. My brother gets up. Geez, you want to do this? Miss, I'm like, you gonna get a whooping. Y'all gonna get a whooping. That was me. I'm not gonna rat. Who did this? Not me. It was me. I don't do stuff to get you a whooping.
You grew up like me. You sure did.
Hell yeah. People need that. Our politicians need some of that backbone. You need some of that old school wisdom. Y'all keep giving Putin red lines. Spank that ass. Somebody need to spank that ass. It's beyond the time for the belt, if you ask me.
Right.
Whip it out. He's 30-1. We got him beat by 30-1. He got nuclear weapons, well, so do we.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, again, just go in there in the middle of the night, pop, 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 knock out some sites, and now he can't fly over Ukraine. Now he can't.
Right.
So they're like, oh, well, if we do that, Russia will take it as a provocation. So what?
Yeah. Ain't they provoking people?
Right. Yeah. My parents didn't give a shit if I got mad at them. They're like, you better pick your lip up off that floor. Get out of my
That was their question. They would say, you mad? You mad? And you couldn't dare say, yeah, I'm mad.
You got an attitude? You got a problem, right? Nope.
That's provocation right there, to whoop somebody and then say, are you mad?
Yeah, or I'll give you something to cry about if you don't straighten it up. What, didn't you just give me something to cry about? I'm crying because of what you did, right? So, yeah. Yes. Yeah, you weren't allowed to have an attitude, weren't allowed to talk back. Yeah, you done. Bye. You gonna walk around.
Please roll your eyes or click your tongue. Please do that.
Girl, we weren't even allowed to say, huh? If they called your name, you said coming, or here I come.
Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
That's how my cousins were raised. They were like, yes, coming. You didn't say what? Huh? Girl, you gonna get your butt busted. If they gotta say
what was combative. Yes, what meant you was ready for a fight.
Oh yeah. They like, what? Did you just say what? Did you say Nope, I'm coming. Y'all need to learn how to put on the belt, damn it. Y'all need to learn how to respect my authority. You can't just be like, you cross this line, I'm gonna bust your butt. I'm gonna count to 10. I'm gonna count to 20. I'm counting to 30. Okay. If I had a parent like that, I'd be, okay, where are they at? 70, 100? Keep counting. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
My parents didn't count. They said, if I get up, it's already too late.
That's right.
So they didn't believe in counting.
Like I said, my dad, that first warning was always like, if he told you to do something, that was your first warning. His next one would be like, don't make me say it again.
Yes. Yes, I
was
remember
the
that.
countdown. That was the countdown. So it made me say
Yes.
2, 3, you getting your bat busted. That's what's gonna happen. So you better get it done.
Yeah. Don't make me say it again. Yeah, I can hear that like yesterday.
Maybe say it again. Yeah. They keep, they don't know how to govern because they don't know how to be parents. They're a bunch of punk ass parents, like Bernie said.
Yeah.
They don't know how to
Yeah.
record. I ain't scared of what that kid gonna do. You better go ahead and be scared of what I'm finna do.
Absolutely.
See, we started on a lie, but look what that lie is doing. Look at all the death and destruction that lie is creating.
Yes.
All the division is created
Yes.
in this country.
Right.
We
And
gotta
God is not a man that he should lie. So I mean, if we're trying to be close to his heart and Christians after his heart, we can't subscribe to the lie either,
That's
telling them or believing them.
That's right. You got these people claiming that they believe in God and they're spiritual and that they're following Trump. You can't
Yeah.
be both. God said you cannot.
Yes, I was working at a Christian organization when he was running for president. I mean, and they used to talk about it all the time. And we weren't even supposed to talk about that. This job even we had chapel every Thursday for 2 hours where we would be in church. You couldn't work that job if you smoked, if you were living with, in sin. They were serious about that. But then when Trump started running, they would be talking about it in the board meetings, and I'm like, I'm so confused.
Yeah,
I am so confused, and so I knew I had to get away from that organization because that was a bunch of devils right there.
yeah.
Here he was actively talking about grabbing women's private parts, and they were like, that's locker room talk. I'm like, Jesus didn't grab nobody like that.
And he ain't brag about it either.
Exactly.
So if
I
you
was
can't
very
recognize,
confused.
yeah, if you don't recognize that dude ain't got no God in him, then
Yeah.
you need to check yourself. You need to question
Yeah.
where your heart is.
Exactly. The motherland is a S-hole country to him. The motherland, where we all came from.
Where everybody, all of humanity came from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's a racist.
Yeah.
Trisha always says your racism is outlasting your faith in God, isn't it? Yeah. You let your fuck my faith. I hate Black people. I hate Mexicans, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can't possibly love God, and you hate
Right.
most of His creation, right?
Because you ain't never seen him before. What if he is Black? What you gonna do then?
And he was. Jesus
Yeah.
walked around Black. Like I said, that Bible would have looked a whole different way in the New Testament if he was a blonde hair, blue eyed freak, like they say, right? Blind eyed, blue eyed people. It was not like there were airplanes back then. He was in Africa. He was in the Middle East, right? He was in Bethlehem and Jerusalem and John. So yeah, no, he was brown. What the Bible even said, his skin was the color of copper, hair like wool. It was nothing like those images y'all be looking at. So again, you can hate God, you can hate me all you want, but hey, I'm going home.
Right, exactly.
So I ain't got no doubts. I can see the lie and I can see the devil when it's on the other side. If you ain't seeing the devil, that means you running with him, right?
That's right. That it's only good and evil.
That's it.
So you got to choose a side. Choose ye this day whom you will serve,
Amen. And it's getting to that time. We all know what time it is.
Yes.
It is getting
People don't believe it though. People do not believe that time is winding up.
They don't. That it is. We are seeing all the signs and symptoms. He said he would put the signs in the air. And
wars and rumors of wars, pestilence and earthquakes, mother against daughter, father against son, all of that.
Oh yeah. See, this is what happens when you don't read that word. Y'all don't know where we are.
That's right.
That's what he said. And if
our people perish from lack of knowledge.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
And we've got the whole book. Like, hey, we're building the book. We got the whole book. So you ain't got no excuse for not knowing.
Absolutely.
And this is easy. Again, he already said lie, murder. I said, even if you don't believe in God, can we agree that list of 10 is a good list? It's all right. You just want to be a good person. Don't lie. Don't kill.
Yeah.
Don't cheat.
But that's the Bible, the one book that stays on the bestseller list all the time. So something must be right about it, you know?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, he ain't lie.
Yeah.
We underestimate. His arms are not too short. So
Yes, yes.
we know
I
what time.
remember that play.
Don't you remember that?
Yes.
So yeah, we clinging closer. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm making sure there ain't no lie. I'm getting all that out. No, no, no.
Girl,
Mm-hmm. We can
what if tomorrow is the day, you know?
Mm-hmm. And a day is like 1,000 years to him. We don't know what day, what time, but it's coming.
A thief in the night.
Like a thief in the night, in the midst of
Mhm.
our sinning. We don't
Yes.
think we just rolling all along. Y'all don't know. Y'all ain't paying attention, bull. I'm watching these signs. I've
Right?
been watching them for years now. Like, oh Jesus. Oh no. He's coming. I'm gonna be
Yes,
ready. I'm gonna be ready.
absolutely.
Look at this evil. Yeah. But we're in total agreement on that. Like I said, that lie. See, when you understand the spirit, when you have the spirit in you, you know.
Mhm.
What we see every day, that's just a reflection of what's really going on in the spirit, what's behind
Yes,
the real what's happening.
right.
And if you see all this, like you said, pestilence, yeah, wars and rumors of wars, we all know. If you know if his word is in you, you know.
Yeah, this is all a sign right now, you know?
Mhm. And it started with a big fat liar telling a bunch of big fat lies.
And knowingly so.
Deliberate.
You know, I was watching the news constantly when we were leading up to the election and all of that. I'm talking about in 2017, the
Mhm.
night that he won. You know, I would have my news on 24 hours a day. My mom was actually visiting me during the time. And so she was sleeping in the room with me.
Uh-huh.
So I would have the TV on 24 hours. My mom would get so mad. She'd be feeling all over, you know, by me trying to find the remote
Find a
control.
remote. Turn that off.
Girl, but that was the first time I ever turned the TV off, was the night that I found out, well, when he was projected the winner.
Yeah.
I turned the TV off and I turned on Yolanda Adams, This Too Shall Pass, and I played it on loop over and over while I was sitting there 1 o'clock in the morning, tears just streaming down my eyes because I could
Yes.
not believe that happened.
Yeah. I went to sleep when I saw that it was likely that he was going to win. I was like, I can't.
I couldn't sleep.
I can't.
My soul was so troubled, I could not sleep.
Woke me up in the middle of the night, troubled. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all went to sleep feeling that because we know
Yes.
that was a gong that went off. That was a trumpet
Yeah.
that was, and we felt it.
Absolutely.
And they don't see it, but I do. You do.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Can't walk through life with blinders on always.
And the lie is a lie is a lie. And if you're gonna start there, you already know you're messing with the wrong one. Everybody, y'all better get right. We gotta get right. You better heed what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's speaking through the both of us right now.
Yes.
You better listen. He who has an ear.
That's right. Oh, let him hear.
Come on. Mess with me, I know something.
Yeah.
I may have a potty mouth, but he knows I know.
Girl, he ain't through with you yet.
He ain't
Ain't that what
through
Steve
with me.
always say? Don't trip.
That's right. He knows.
I know he's still working on me. My son was getting ready to buy me a T-shirt for Mother's Day that say, "Yeah, I'm a Christian, but I still cuss a little bit." So y'all gonna have to, you know.
Hey, you just be like, hey, you do you on that. I need you to speak.
Yeah.
And that's what I need you to do. And do it the way you do. I said, all right, Jesus. You mean you want me to do it the way I say it? He's like, say it. How
Yeah.
you Thank you. I'm used to being handcuffed. And he's like, oh, now say it nice and say it right. He's like, yeah, go, say it. You ain't said nothing but a word, Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, you ain't said nothing but a word with me. Oh my God. See, this is how we need to talk. This is what I mean. But I mean, you know, we can laugh and we know it's serious, but yeah, we got joy no matter what. And I pray
Absolutely.
for those people over there in Ukraine. I think about them every night. And when I wake up in the morning, because
Yes.
we have been so blessed, this generation specifically, we haven't had to fight anything.
Girl, yes. And I mean, everything, the internet, everything is microwave so fast and
Yeah,
everything is at our fingertips.
very
We're
convenient.
living in a way that we have never lived in our lives before. And we still have the nerve to be arrogant, not
Mm,
to reach out and, help a person up who needs it, not to show
mhm.
somebody love and compassion who is going through a very difficult time.
Yep,
The arrogance that we have is just, it's unbelievable,
it's
you
sad
know?
and,
Yes,
and
it is.
ungrateful. We're not
Yeah,
grateful at all.
exactly.
We take it all for granted. And I think
Yes.
about that every time I see that moms, grandmas making Molotov cocktails. And, I'm like, y'all go.
Yeah.
Women like dropping the kids off in Poland and then coming back for the fight. I mean,
Mhm.
imagine if we had to do that. I would be willing
Yeah.
to do it. I've never fired a gun, but I'll find out how I'll get
Yeah.
one of them. I'll fight.
Those the Ukrainian mothers were holding the Russian soldiers and calling their mothers so that they could talk to their mothers on the phone.
Yeah,
Now
because
that,
they ain't learning. They ain't hearing the truth over there. They don't know what's happening with their baby boys.
girl, that's a hard woman right there who
Yeah,
would do something like that and then still have enough heart to let them talk to their mom.
yeah, I'm telling
Girl.
you, because
Mhm.
they wouldn't have had another breath, especially after what they've been doing. Oh no, this is awful. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine, and then
Yeah.
even if you're in safety and your dad's still back there, your brother's still back there, can you imagine?
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
So we gotta keep praying and we gotta stay focused. We can't turn away. I mean,
Yeah.
those images are so gruesome, but I made myself look at them.
Yeah.
Self look, because it's like we've got to take it because it could be
Mhm.
us. And if it were
Exactly.
us, we got to
It,
understand where we're gonna be in that fight. So,
yeah.
you
That's
know,
what I have to tell people when they're saying to me, why do you always watch the news? Why? I'm like, because these people are living it. They can't get away from it. So who am I? How
right.
can I be so arrogant to say that that don't concern me?
That ain't my
Because it
problem.
does concern me. If a baby is getting
Yes,
killed, blown up in a hospital, that concerns me,
it should. It
Yeah.
should. And
Yeah.
and the fact that we've become so callous I mean, and apathetic to other people's suffering. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I can't see
Yeah.
how people can see that and look away.
But
I'm
we're
just
only
like,
callous when it has to do with other people. When it has to do with us, we want the whole world to stop and mourn with
oh
us.
yeah. Can you believe this happened to me? Yeah. Well,
Why me? Why me?
there's a lot
Yeah.
of people suffering. If you look outside yourself, and two, I'm not the type. You see people when there's somebody creeping in your crib or hiding in the horror movies, and they throw the blanket over their head. All that does is ensure you ain't gonna see it coming. Listen, I'm not that type. I can't. I'm an action type. I need to see it coming. So I
Yes.
watch. Yes, I pay
Right.
attention.
He so ready.
Yes, I'm on the ready. I got
Yeah.
my moves. I'm working it down. Like, this is what I'm gonna do if this happens. Right? So no, you got a lot of Americans like, that ain't my business. Okay, you ain't gonna see it coming. Then that's what you insuring. You ain't gonna see it
That's
coming.
right. That is right.
I've seen it my whole life. When did they pass this law? Well, you can't do that anymore. When did that happen? Y'all ain't been paying attention, have you?
That's right.
I keep it tuned in, baby.
Yeah.
Oh man, Velda, this is so awesome. I'm so glad we finally got to do this. We're gonna be doing a whole bunch. So
I'm glad. I'm glad because I love it. I truly do.
yeah. I'm gonna have
To
my
be with somebody, a like-minded sister, and you can just sit and talk.
yes. And about important stuff, about stuff that's going on, and not just
Exactly.
random goofy stuff that doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter
Right.
today.
Exactly.
Like I said, I think people take for granted that there are conversations like this happen. And that's why I encourage everybody after these posts to have this discussion with people. Once you listen to this, talk to somebody you know about it. It's
Yes.
our duty to be participating in these conversations and stuff. It's our duty
Right.
to think
Each
about it.
one reach one.
That's right.
Mhm.
So I want to help encourage this. This is we don't just concern ourselves with mac and cheese and kitchen table issues. All of this affects us, and so we need to
Yes.
be paying attention to it. So,
I agree. I agree. And I thank you for your forum because,
oh, you're welcome. I
it's
love it.
reaching people and it's good.
I
Good
hope
talk.
so.
I love it.
Yeah. So we got I got somebody fixing my website. It's gonna be the new and improved, go new progressives. And this is gonna be posted. This is gonna be one of the first things they see. That beautiful face, Miss Velda.
Oh,
Yeah.
yours too.
We gonna have such a good time. I got a buttload of conversations. If you see my notes, it's like pages of this topic, this topic. I wake up in the morning like, okay, we're gonna talk about this, we're gonna talk about that. So be on guard. I'm gonna be calling you, honey.
Okay, I look forward to it, because for you to have your stuff as well put together as you are and as intellectual as you are, keep the conversation flowing. That's all you need right there. You got the formula.
Thank you, darling. I appreciate it. I'm
Yeah,
working my butt off
absolutely.
trying.
Yeah,
Hopefully we'll get viral somehow.
absolutely. I believe you will.
Oh, thank
By
you.
faith, we'll call it done.
That's right. In the name of Jesus, it will be
Yeah,
done.
there you go.
All right, Velda. You have a good night, my love. We're
I
gonna
will.
we're gonna be back soon. TMP followers, subscribe, listen, give us your comments. We want to hear what you got to say about what we've been talking about. All right.
Malika, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Velda, for joining me. I'll talk to you
You're welcome.
soon. Have a
Okay.
good night, everybody. Thank you.